Go to Tracey Brown Live. Gals and guys, go to Tracey Brown Live. Go to Tracey Brown Live. Go to Tracey Brown Live. Gals and guys, go to Tracey Brown Live. Go to Tracey Brown Live. Go to Tracey Brown Live. Gals and guys, go to Tracey Brown Live. Go to Tracey Brown Live. Go to Tracey Brown Live.
Hello, everyone. This is Tracey Brown coming to you today to do Tracey After Dark. How is everyone doing? And good health to everyone. We are going to have a continuation conversation on the empath. Why don't we just call it the empath series? Because I think I want to discuss almost every empath that's out there. And then you could see who you are in the empaths. Most importantly, I think it's really important to one, recognize if you are an empath, what type of empath specifically, because everyone seems to be under the only impression of being an empath is that I feel, which is true. You absolutely do feel. But what is it that you're feeling, right? Why are you tapping into other people, right? Can you stop yourself? Especially if stopping yourself means that it could be detrimental to your health, right? And it might be associated with um, understanding better that yes, you are an empath, and there is a way to control those feelings. Not to say that um, being an empath is bad or good, right? Controlling the empathic feelings is mandatory. And unfortunately, in the spiritual world, we just don't have enough people talking about these topics, right? Which is why I'm here, right? Not to say I'm the heroine or anything or the hero. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying when I was growing up and I refused to believe that I was an empath, right? And I understood why I refused to believe that because my exterior is a lot harder than other empaths, right? And so I feel like if I don't tap in emotionally, there's no way I can be an empath until something major happens. I mean, major. And I'm feeling all the feels, right? So, like everything that's going on with Ian, everyone is over it. If you don't live in the area, you are over it. I am not. I am obsessed with Florida right now. I am obsessed with the conditions that they are living in, and I'm feeling all their feels, right? Funny thing is, as an individual, there's nothing I can do about it, but I can't stop the obsession either. And lo and behold, Nicole hits. And so what I've been doing lately, and I don't even know why, right? But it's I guess my way of controlling these empathic feelings. Like I can't control the outcome. I can't stop the hurricanes from coming, right? But I can certainly obsess over it. So now I like best friends with the weather people, right? And on YouTube, specifically, one specific guy, I think he's called Mr. Weatherman or something like that. I love him. Um, I know all the terminology now of the hurricanes because I am in Hurricane Alley, right? So I know all the invest, like I know all these things now. There's a subtrop, and then there's subtrop storm, and then there's the tropical storm, and there's a slight difference between the two, right? I'm obsessed, guys. It's just driving me mad. But I also love it because I think it's the way that I'm controlling how I'm feeling about people losing their homes and their boats and living in squalor now. You know, people are still living in no electricity. And then lo and behold, Nicole was running through there and just took out Daytona Beach. Out. So all those homes that living on the coastal line, they're teetering. They're teetering on the ocean right now. But I did learn that I think my form of empath is to solve the problem, give the person tools to solve the problem, and then move on, right? Not to stay constantly invest. Because as a psychic, I could always be like, are you okay? Are you okay? And I don't do that, right? As a psychic and an empath, that's been very hard for me to admit, but today I will admit that I'm an empath. When I do a reading, I give people tools to move beyond where they are. Most people call to say that they're stuck. No one is ever stuck, but that's how they feel. So we work on what being stuck looks like, what they need to do to get unstuck, and give themselves permission that if you're in a stuck place, that maybe there too is God. But if they want to get unstuck, these are some of the responses you can have to grow out of being stuck. Some people are stuck on purpose. They just don't know it. So let me say hello to everyone. Hello, Stephen. How are you? Hey, LaShonda. How are you? Sexy Red. Hi, and good health, LaShonda. Good health, Stephen. Good health, Sexy Red. Lisa D. Good health and enjoy your evening. Thank you. You too. Let me just point everybody out. That might be easier. Sandra Joe. Good health. Miss Tracy and Chat. And Ava. Good evening, Ava, and good health. All right. So that's the first thing we're going to do is talk about Heyoka. I thought that I would get to the earth impact, but I've decided that maybe it's better to just invest in the Heyoka for today. We'll figure out the earth next week. Oh, I feel special. Oh, of course you do. That's because I'm an empath. And that's because I understand that highlighting someone's comment could actually make you feel special. So that was intentional, Sexy Red. hmm I'm an empath. So I feel your energy. I feel like, you know, this needs to be done. So I do it. All right. Let me go here. All righty now. Let me just see something here. And so on today's episode of Tracey After Dark, we are going to talk about the Heyoka empath and why. Oh, I can't do it yet. I'm waiting for Blog Talk Radio to come on. Okay, well, since I'm waiting for Blog Talk Radio to come on, how about if I tell you, hi, Miss Net. Hello, sweetie. Good health. I tell you about the herbal workshop that's coming up, Respiratory and Defense for Cold and Flu Season. It is for Sunday, November 20th at 6 p.m. and it's featuring herbs that support physical and spiritual healing for your respiratory system. RSV is huge. It's huge. So come to this class, save your children, save your cousins if they got babies, and get to empower yourself with some healing herbs. Just contact orinaturals.com. That's ORINATURALS.com. Okay? In addition to that, my picture disappears. Let's get that picture up. Where did my picture? Oh, I don't know why. Okay. In addition to that, feel free to contact me for your own personal reading at numbers 213-458-7408. Most of my readings are done on Zoom, or if you have iPhone, it's done on Apple or regular phone. Who cares? All right, but just know that they're all done on Zoom and FaceTime. And I really love the Zoom and FaceTime. I don't know why I didn't think of it earlier, because I really love showing you the cards and the meaning of the cards. And who's ever on right now, please like the video. And if you're watching it at your convenience, can you please like the video? And also subscribe. I'm increasing in my subscribers, and that is just making me so, so happy. And bless everyone that, is subscribing to me. Hi, D Nice. I mean, all my new people, because some of you have known me for years. But some of my new people that are subscribing to me, welcome to the Tracey Show, whatever that looks like. The one thing about my show is you never know what you're going to get with me. I can start out really calm and easy breezy, although the Tracey After Darks are really calm, right? The Good Morning Tracey and the dashikis and bonnets. Oh, child, I can start out really calm. I go into a ballistic fury, and then I get calm again. Before the show ends, I get calm and happy again. I like that about myself. But let me explain why I'm the way I am. So we're going to talk about Heyoka empath, and why they are the rarest, yet extremely powerful empaths. And I would encourage you all who are empaths to consider powering up the way the Heyoka empath does, right? Some empaths are just way too sensitive, right? Can't take a joke. I mean, the empath, right? Because they're too busy feeling. But I feel, Tracey, and I'm like, I know you feel. But can we just laugh about it? Can we laugh about what you're feeling? I have a terrible habit of finding the funny in everything. And interesting enough, when I tell a story back, it is hilarious, and I already know it. One of my former, and I would say former, I just haven't talked to her in a while, peers from one of the stores that I worked at swore to God that I should be a comedian, stand-up comedian like Monique. And I was like, no. How does it look like I'm a psychic and a stand-up comedian? No. So I just became a comedian on YouTube. That's hilarious. What is a Heyoka empath? Heyoka is a word that comes from the Indian tribe, and means sacred jester, sacred clown, right? In the Sioux culture, the Heyoka is the person who marches to the beat of their own drummer, and in doing so, constantly heals. All right? Their gift is to challenge others to see the world from a different perspective. And they often do this with a lot of humor. Heyoka empaths are said to be the most powerful kind. Their intuition is unmatched like anyone else's, and they have a curious impact on others. Chances are there's one that you have met in your lifetime, or could it be you? So, here are some signs that you are a Heyoka empath. To be a Heyoka, spelled Heyoka, empath, you have to first identify as empathetic, or a person, let me just see something, or a person who is capable of experiencing the emotions of others. However, the Heyoka empath has a key trait that differentiates them from other empaths. They have a keen sense of humor that sometimes leads to satire. Heyoka empaths can joke about anything, and yet this ability can be healing for others. You know, I believe I'm a Heyoka empath, so we're going to go through the different steps, and I'm going to tell you how I fit into this. But I used to have a guy that I used to see, and I have what's called nervous laugh, right? Oh, I believed it was a nervous laugh at the time. And he used to say, "Why are you laughing at that? It could be a funeral. There's always something on TV, something tragic." And I'd be like, oh my God. But it was the way that I said it was so comical. And he used to say, "Why are you laughing at that?" Trying to make me feel bad about how I'm showing up to him, right? "I'm sorry, sir. You're miserable. So I'm either laughing because I'm in your company and I'm miserable, or you're showing me shit on your TV that's miserable. My only way to solve my problem is to giggle," right? I didn't say that to him. I was like, "It's just nervous energy. I laugh at everything." And I never stopped. I just didn't know how to stop to soothe his miserable ass, right? The Hoka empath can joke about anything, and yet this ability can be healing for others. They are seemingly lighthearted, and they have lighthearted banter, which could help others tackle difficult conversations or speak up about taboo topics, right? The other day, right, I openly talked about my hemorrhoids and my boo-boo issues, right? And everybody else was like, "Excuse you." And I was like, "No, excuse you. It's my hemorrhoids and my boo-boo. I want to talk about it." Heyokas feel very free to talk openly. And ironically, on that day, one of the girls admitted that they were having issues with their boo-boo, and that the doctor wanted to cut out a piece, give her a colostomy bag, and reattach the organs in 3 months. And it was in that moment that I could have a conversation with her. But how about if I didn't talk about my boo-boo? It was hilarious. That's not the point. How about if I didn't have the guts to talk about it, right? I didn't know that I was capable in that moment for someone else to come through and be really honest and admit that they've been struggling and have been in pain for years. And in that moment, the healing came when she said, okay, I'll go back to my doctor and I'll have more conversations about that. That just made my day. That made my whole day, because what I'm learning, being a Heyoka empath and looking at it from a different perspective, not just being a thing that I don't know what it is. Now I know what it is, and now I consciously heal in the moment. So although I was telling you guys about my boo-boo and my hemorrhoids and how painful they were, and by the way, it's healed. My hemorrhoids are healed. Praise the Lord. Praise the Lord. There's nothing worse than having um, boo-boo issues. You can't sit, you can't sleep. It is the worst thing. But I didn't know that someone was having similar issues. But once I discovered they were having similar issues, what happened in the feet? Only she mattered. I took all my attention, took it off myself, and put it on the person, and had conversations with her in front of everybody. And it didn't matter that 100 or more people were listening. It didn't matter to me. It certainly didn't matter to her, because it was only in that moment that she could speak up. And by the time all was said and done, she was like, okay, I get it. I'll go to the doctor. That's what healing looks like to a Heyoka empath. All right. So we're really good at talking about taboo topics, right? Because humor can break the ice, all right, and gently approach a conflict avoidant person in a way that won't make them defensive. That's what humor does. Or even help draw out the true feelings of those around them. Heyoka empaths are also a mirror to your feelings, a mirror to those around them. One of the main signs of a Heyoka empath is you mirror the feelings of those around you. For instance, if someone around you is in a negative mood, you will begin to absorb it and become a thundercloud of emotions. Likewise, if you're around someone who is positive and buoyant, you then too will take on those same traits. It's not that you just absorb emotions, all right? You act as a mirror for those around you to see themselves better. When you take on the traits, they may be confronted with discomfort about their own behavior, which can be integral for someone's change. So taking on someone's emotions, it's kind of like, I do this a lot. It's kind of like when somebody, let's say it's Zoom, and somebody comes into your room, I can tell they're in a bad mood, right? And so I'll wait until the right time, and I could see that maybe their mood changed, right? And I'll be like, oh, look at you, your mood changed. You came in like, ugh. But the way I do it, it's hilarious. And the person will be like, oh my God, I came in such a bad mood, but I'm feeling so good now. Yay. But I can joke. You can't, unless you're a Heyoka empath. I can. I can joke, and no one takes me seriously. No one is like, how dare you say that to me? By the way, if you did, then I'm going to shoot it down, right? Because I don't like attitude, right? Because if I'm pointing out something, it is to get you to recognize it and heal from a trait that maybe is unattractive for you. So have an attitude if you want, but we're going to fix this. I do that a lot on IG. I tend to pick a post, right? And as of recently, I picked somebody's post, but I did it for a reason. Everybody thinks I'm arguing, right, on IG. I'm not arguing on IG. I'm actually pointing out something, but everybody's too ignorant to figure out that Tracey's trying to make a statement because they don't know Tracey, right? They don't know Tracey, right? They don't know the story of Tracey. They don't, these IG people, they don't even know me as a good psychic, right? IG is too massive to understand why some crazy woman came in and commented on their post. They don't get it, which is fine. The more they don't get it, the more I comment back until they get it. The one thing I can tell you is that if I'm commenting on you, you need to change. There's a reason for it. You'll never forget me. One. And two, whatever exchange we're having, you're always going to remember it. And if you're always going to remember it, something in you will then change your behavior. I don't need to see the future. I don't need to never know that you changed. I know that if you have an interaction with me and it looks like I'm hurting your feelings or getting on your nerves, well, good for me, because that means something about you needs to change. But nobody understands that on IG. They just think I'm like antagonistic. I'm not. All right, off myself. You're a free spirit. Heyoka empaths are free spirits who walk through the world dancing to the music no one else can hear. Figuratively, but sometimes literally, right? If I'm in a supermarket and a song comes on, I'll look to the left and look to the right. If nobody's around, I will shake that boo thing with the hemorrhoids because I cannot help myself. Because learning to be happy in the moment, learning to just dance while you're trying to pick up some Cheerios, there is nothing wrong with that. More people need to do what I do, right? If more people just express themselves a little bit more unstiff like, oh my God, you guys would be so happy. So sometimes literally I will be dancing. I loved being with my sister the best because she by all means is an empath. I'm not really sure what type, but we have similar traits, right? And so when she hears music, she will just start dancing. And so when she came along, and I would see she was free enough to start dancing, I'd be like, well, child, this is my jam too. And we'll be dancing in the supermarket, standing online. She's worse than me. I like that song, girl. I hear you. You dancing. Look at you dancing. And I'll start, shimmering with her. It's hilarious. But that's a free spirit, right? The other thing about free spirits, which again, I didn't understand that I was a Heyoka empath, but part of being a free spirit is not being confined, right? Everyone I know wants to buy a house and live in a house for 30 years. I don't. I never did. I never understood that. Everybody talks about generational wealth and how owning a home was something we couldn't do as African Americans. And so the opportunity to do it, like take on I'm like, I can't imagine staying anywhere for 30 years. I can't see it. I mean, I feel it in my gut. I will never do that. So part of having a free spirit, Heyoka empaths, is that they move around a lot. I know so many Heyoka empaths. One of my favorite is Hawaiian. Oh God, she's one of my favorite people. Also a Leo like me. Oh, I want to say Kaluha. Oh shit, one of my favorite people. And she too. I think she is not only a Heyoka empath, but I also think she's an Earth empath. Um, and she's exactly like me, just she's much more ethereal than I am, right? And she will literally find a house in nature and stay there for a few years and moving on. And the other thing is that we don't even understand why the spirit moves us. We just go with the wind. We don't really question it. We're just like, They're like, oh, Tracey, where are you going, St. Croix? What? Uh-huh. Wait, you're going to St. Croix? Yeah. Why? Because I always wanted to. And I figured now's the time. And I get that question a lot. Where do you live now, St. Croix? What do you mean you live in St. Croix? How'd you get there? Just walked over. Let me see what everybody is saying. Sounds beautiful. Good evening, Tracey and the Mystical Misfits. Good health, Sin W. All right. The empaths that have free spirits don't conform to the society around them, which actually makes them stand out. Heyoka empaths do not care that they do not fit in. Remember that. I'm a psychic true and true. When people ask me, what do you do for a living? I tell them I'm a psychic. I love telling religious people that I'm a psychic. I love to see the shock on their face. I love to see that they can't talk. They love me at first, right? They're like, oh my God, you have the most beautiful spirit. I could just see, like, you're just God's child. I'm like, I am God's child. Thank you for noticing. And then they'll go, what do you do for a living, psychic? Straight ass, straight face. And you see them twitch in front of me like I just threw holy water on them. And they're uncomfortable. And I'm okay with you being uncomfortable with me being a psychic. I didn't know that's the sign of a Heyoka empath. I actually enjoy making people uncomfortable. Does this sound like you? Do you walk on the wild side? Do you make waves? Do you fight a good fight? And sometimes do you fight just because? Sometimes it's not even a good reason. You're just wanting to fight. But it's not a fight with you as a person, it's a fight with society. Um, the wild the wildness of an empath's tendency challenges the norms and societal perspectives, and they will challenge deeply held personal beliefs. So all you religious people out there, you know what I'm here to do: debunk all the silly religious rules y'all have. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I will do that. But the way the Heyoka empath does it is to heal you. I get so many religious people that are uncomfortable in their own religion. They want to switch over to spirituality. They're uncomfortable because they think they're betraying something. And so I begin to teach them, especially if you're of color, I begin to teach them that the way you were taught to respect and love religion was out of fear, out of control. And changing that way of learning. How you learn is spiritual. And by the way, still love God and Jesus. See, the funny thing is, no one's taking religion from you. We're expanding what religion produces, which is a very narrow view. So, God and Jesus are both expansive. So, if you become spiritual, you're actually more in alignment with God and Jesus. You're actually more Christian if you're spiritual, if that's the alignment that you're looking for. Under the Christian umbrella, spiritual is big. So if we take a pie and take that aspect that belongs to Christians and take out religion, which is church ideology and church rules, and expand your spiritual knowledge. In your spiritual knowledge and everything that you learn outside of church, there is God. You get it? I hope so. Well, let me see. Let me talk to Red Roses real quick. Tracey, I don't know if the Taurus in me or an empath in me, but I'm challenging at my new job. I don't know. Maybe you just need to challenge the job. Maybe that has nothing to do with you being a Taurus. But to be honest with you, most Tauruses will find a way to challenge the system. I don't know what it is about you guys, but it's an ironic thing because you're a fixed sign. So I think when you challenge something, you're actually challenging a system to suit you personally. That's the way I see it. But so it could be the Taurus in you as well as the empath in you. Just be careful that in terms of challenging your job, make sure that the challenges is well received, right? So if it's the empath in you, then the challenge should be to heal others at the job too. Like that would be the purpose of the empath in you, right? That would be the long haul. Lisa D says, I often fight my own emphatic nature because I saw how badly people took advantage of my deeply empathetic mother. Her empathy often caused her to make poor decisions and self-sabotage. Well, that's because she was probably an emotional empath, right? Which is probably, to me, the most dangerous, right? An emotional empath, when somebody comes to you with a sad story, not only do you believe it, you feel it. You understand every nook and cranny of their emotions. So, of course, you want to give against people, right? Lisa D, if you are a little different from your mother, oh, it's some type of insect around me. Sorry, it was on my phone. You might be a Heyoka empath because they do have a harder skin. So you might have spent too much time looking at your mother inappropriately, right? And not looking at yourself, right? So you actually, Heyoka empaths actually have a really thick skin. Um, and the good part about Heyoka empaths, we're going to discuss this later, but Heyoka empaths do not like liars. So not only are you feeling this, that, and the third, you could feel when a liar is in your face. So you're probably a Heyoka empath, but have been looking at your mother like too stringently, that you're not looking at yourself, Lisa D. So at this stage of the game, love your mother where she's at. I would think at this point you already know how to protect her, and that means to keep assholes away from her. But let's start strengthening you and your emphatic, and empathetic, development. Because you're a disservice if you aren't using the God-given gift that you have. How? To heal others. And that has nothing to do with somebody coming to you and taking advantage of you. You had your mother's experience to know not to let that happen to you, but you're investing too much energy in your mother's experience to make sure it doesn't happen to you, but then you're missing the healing aspect that is supposed to be coming from you. And healing's free. Healing most times is a conversation, right? Let me see what else. Tracey, my new roommate, is a Christian medium. There's no such thing as a Christian medium, by the way. She's a medium. Oh my God, you can't be a Christian medium. I mean, if you're a Christian medium, somebody Muslim comes up to you, do you be like, I can't take care of you because I'm a Christian medium? No, you don't do that. I'm being sarcastic, by the way. I have recommended her tarot class to you if she's trying to get more spiritual worldview. Well, thank you. And then she'll call if she wants more help, you know? I understand you, sweetie. So do you understand what I'm saying, Linda? Tracey, quick question. What's the difference between psychic and medium? Mediums see spirits and ghosts. For the most part, psychics use their intuitive ability. They use tarot cards. For the most part, a psychic needs a tool, and mediums see spirits and ghosts without any tools. Like literally, they just walk into their spiritual space. All right. Just looking at some of these comments. Let's get back to, I lost my spot because the insect came by. Oh, the free spirit. I love being a free spirit. I love it. Number 4, other people project their feelings onto you. Because you mirror the feelings of others, you often find that people project their feelings onto you. How often does this happen, guys? It happens to me a lot. Like, people are like, you are very angry. And I'm like, wait a minute. You're the one that's talking to me angry. How am I angry? And then I get fucking angry because I'm matching the energy. I can take someone's anger and multiply it. But if I take on your anger, I spit it back at you. And trust and believe, once I spit it back at you, you will never like me. Right? Because what you did was project onto me. You threw it at me, fine. I take that chi and I turn it into a fireball, and then I throw it back at you. And people are usually shocked, right? Because remember, I'm a free spirit. And I'm spending a lot of time dancing in the aisles of the supermarket. So I look like a fucking fool, right? Until I recognize that you're taking advantage of me. And once I recognize it, I'm like, what are you doing? And then when you show me anger of any kind, anywhere, at any job, at any bus stop, I mean, oh Lord, you throw anger, good luck. All right. Wait, what? Heyoka empaths can find themselves the target of other people's frustration, anger, sadness. Remember, they mirror emotions. Drawing these emotions to the surface can be healing, while the experiences of people's projections isn't always fun. The Heyoka empath understand that this is part of the healing process and tends to not take it personally. While I am much more developed as a Heyoka empath, and in no way will I tolerate your anger. I mean, zero tolerance for anger. I nip it immediately. And I'm like, whoa, you're getting out of hand, getting disrespectful. Change that tone, and let's try that again, right? And then the person will try it again. I'll be like, wasn't that better when you tried it in a way where I could hear you, right? Your anger doesn't work for me. Like a Karen, we talked about this a lot, guys. A Karen will not be good for me. I begged God when the Karens were rising up. I don't think they're rising up so much because there's just, oh, that era of Karens. I can't even. It's just destroying. Like as an empath, when I saw a Karen, oh my God, I would feel the energy of the victim, not the Karen, of the victim. So I begged God. I said, God, I never want to be in the middle of Karen energy. Never. Like, praise God. Please protect me. Please let Karen energy pass me by. Again, because I've learned to acknowledge your anger and your inappropriate anger, I will not tolerate. If you're not a literal 5-year-old that is showing anger and I can diffuse that better than a 35-year-old, 45-year-old, at least a 5-year-old, you can go, well, I'm just going to let you cry. And when you're finished crying, could you let me know? I've done it to my grandson. When you're finished crying, could you let me know? I don't know when I'm ever going to finish crying. Oh, so this is going to take a while? Okay, go in the other room. Because now I know if you isolate them, right? Crying is for attention, right? If you isolate them, put on a little bit of music, ignore them, oh, that crying stops. He'll even come back out and he's like, I'm not, I'm not crying anymore. I was like, that kind of sounds like you're crying. Go back in the room for a little bit. Finish up. It's good for you. Go finish up. Heal. All right. And just like I just did, most Heyoka empaths will take the energy and turn it into pure comedy. That's why when I tell my stories, that's why, listen, I always tell you guys, if I go out in the street, I'm going to have a story to tell. Something is going to be comedy in my head. And I'm going to be like, can't wait to get back Tuesday morning to tell my peeps about this story now, right? Because everything is comedy to me. Nothing is serious. Everything. I see everything. I notice everything. You can't twitch your eye without me noticing it. I could be in a crowd of people and I will pick up on everybody's energy. And then I'll come back and tell you the funniest story. Could be about a car crash where people died. And they're like, okay. And then the person didn't live. That was shocking. That was the shocking part. I mean, I know the story is really funny, but I didn't expect. Okay, that's how I would tell the story. Hey, Sylvester. Most times with my conversations with people, oh, by the way, you are absolutely a Heyoka empath, Sylvester. You don't know it. Most times in my conversation with people, I feel their emotions. Yes. I feel it more heavy with their intense anger. I have been experiencing this for years. How can I better handle this part of me? Yeah, when you feel their intense anger, you stop communicating. Conversation's over. You're like, okay, gotta go. Like, switch it off immediately. You leave them with their anger, right? Whatever they're talking about. Most times the anger is not even going to be toward you, right? Because I get that a lot. I get people that is like, I'm so upset. I'm so upset. Oh, really? What you upset about? If it's dumb anger, I'm like, oh, you have a right to feel angry. I do. Yes, you have a right to feel anger. The thing about who you are as an empath, instead of taking it on, remember to push it back out and heal them. Sometimes healing them because you can't measure who is crazy and who isn't, who's just mad and is having a meltdown, or who is normally crazy, right? Two different things. But you handle it the same way. You push back out to heal them. And that could be in any way possible. So if somebody's intense anger, you just say, you have a right to that anger. Boom, you just diffused it. They're going to be shocked when you give them permission to be angry. You own that. Nobody has a right to make you feel that way. Like, these are some of the words that you could say. Even if you don't believe it, all you want is for the anger to subside. And if the anger subsides, you can get them on their merry way. They feel like somebody heard them, right? And they are literally healed, choosing the right words to give them credit for being angry. Sometimes the anger is not justified, right? I have a neighbor here that I have a cat that's constantly I've got these stray cats. I don't even want to talk about the cats right now. One of the cats came in my house and slept. I guess it just wanted a warm place. And I was like, just sleep. Oh my God. I left the door open so it can exit easily, but it was just so funny. And one of my neighbors will look at the cat in my face and he will say, I don't like you, right? And I'm like, don't do that. I've said it to him like 3 times already, right? I'm like, don't do that. And then if these cats, by the way, wasn't on survival mode, they would push that energy back onto him. Like, he doesn't understand energy. They would push it back onto him. But they're so busy surviving that they don't want to deal with his version of ugly for them. So they're just like, okay, like they're just like, okay. And I'm standing right there. And I'm like, I'm not gonna let you talk to the cats like that. I'm like, don't say that. And then finally I said, it's just not kind. It's just unkind. And I said it in that tone to make him think about what he's saying about a cat that's not doing anything to him. Just weird shit. But in any case, you see how you can handle something that you should not get in the middle of? I do not want to get in the middle of this man and this cat. But I can step in just a little bit to diffuse his anger that he was pushing onto the cat. And I can just say, oh, no, that's not a nice use of your words. You know, Sylvester, does that help any? I hope it helped. Kenneth goes, I don't know if I'm an empath, but over the years, I cannot stand to be around negative people. It literally makes me depressed. Oh, good. Um, it could be that you are an empath, right? Or it could be as you're growing up spiritually, Kenneth, as you're growing, you're beginning to recognize that your soul cannot handle negative people. And the fact that you can recognize that is a good thing. Because negative people can vampire and suck the blood out of your soul. So the fact that you recognize it absolutely means that you're an empath, but how you handle it is by not staying around them. And you're doing that for your health. And that's the smartest thing you could do. So whether you know you're empath or not, you're doing the right thing to take care of your soul's energy. My soul belongs to me. And your negative ass can't insult my soul this way. I can't do it. So gotta go. Mm-hmm. God, I hope that works out for you. But I gotta go to the bathroom. I gotta go to a meeting. Gotta make a phone call. God, I hope that works out for you. Okay, bye-bye. Bye-bye. Emotional empires are the worst. Funny thing is, emotional empires know what the fuck they're doing. And that's what bothers me. As a Heyoka empath, I know that emotional empaths do it on purpose. And I hate that about them. So when I see an emotional empath, I'm not always kind to emotional empaths. I mean, vampires. Nope. Nope. I will call them out. I was like, you just go from people to people telling a story? No, that's unacceptable. It's a horrible. I got one woman called me for a reading to tell me a horrible story. I mean, horrible. She expected me to have a reaction to it, and I did have a reaction to it. And I told her, you are never to tell this story to anyone ever again. You are dumping on people, and you use this reading to dump on me. And that's unacceptable. Don't you ever do that to anyone ever again. Yep. I said it in the reading. Hmm. Because she did it on purpose. All right. I tend to love most Heyokas. Many don't know they are, though. Yeah. Yeah, Miss Matthews. I didn't know I was a Heyoka empath for years, but I love the fact that I was consistent as a Heyoka empath. They'll figure it out someday. The Heyoka empath shows our shadow selves so the Heyoka empath can heal and integrate. All right. Heyoka empaths have the ability to heal others. By the way, any empath should learn to heal. Any empath should learn to heal. If you don't learn to take that energy and heal with it, you will make yourself sick. I don't care what kind of empath, animal empath, earth empath, I don't care what kind of empath you are. Get in there and heal that part. Heal the earth. Do something. Work for a garden, nursery, plant trees, like do whatever it takes, right? Animal empaths are easy. What do? They take care of animals. Emotional empaths feel, but you can't take on everyone's feeling and think you're going to have a good life. It's a miserable life if you keep taking on people's feelings. So you push it back out. Now, sometimes you could feel, emotional empaths could feel things, and there's nothing you can do about it, right? But here's what I've learned to do. I've learned to identify the emotions that I'm getting, right? So it's almost like doing a reading, right? When I feel someone's emotions, I've turned it around to reading them, right? So I'll read them. Like I remember once I was in a subway and this poor lady was crying and she had a young, like 8 or 9, 10-year-old kid with her. And she was crying. And of course, there's nothing you could do, right? So I just kind of looked at her and I read the energy. And I was like, oh, she just broke up with somebody. Oh, like I could, like psychically, that's what I picked up on, right? So rather than absorb her energy and her pain that she was going through, I closed my eyes and I pushed back out prayer and healing energy and survival energy for her and her child, right? You can't always step in and do something, but you can always pray. And they don't even have to know you're praying for them. So you don't have to be the type of emotional empath that needs to know the story. Like you don't have, ma'am, why are you crying? Tell me your story. No, no. You've already felt the story. If you felt the story, then read it. Read the energy. Sit quietly or stand quietly and really let the thoughts come to you, right? If you can feel it, then you can read what's going on in their mind, right? If you're an empath and you could feel someone's energy that they're crying inside, you can read their mind. You just don't know it. So if you focus and read the energy, you will figure out what the problem is. And then you can send the energy back in a loving, healing way by praying over the situation. And that's how emotional empaths can get out of their own way. Because emotional empaths hold on to the energy and they are drained. They are drained all day because they haven't learned how to manage taking in other people's emotions. You do it naturally. You don't hold on to it naturally. You give it back. The other way that you can learn to release energy is to like put your hands underwater, right? And it could be very symbolic where you put your hands underwater, rub your hands together, go up your arm and push the energy and let it go down the drain. Okay, moving on. If you find that you tend to inspire others to make positive changes in their lives, you might have this powerful empathetic gift. Unfortunately, Heyoka empaths can sometimes ignore their own areas of healing because of their hyper focus on healing others. That's not such a bad gift, though. That's not such a detriment. Like, imagine being a Heyoka empath and always wanting to heal others. I think that's a beautiful gift. I do it all the time, but I have learned to care about myself. All right. If you're this type of empath, you need extra rest. Extra rest. How many times do I talk about getting some rest, people? Rest is big, although I didn't know it because I was empath. I'm just taking what I need and sharing it with you guys. Rest is mandatory. You don't have to go to sleep, but you got to put your feet up and be in a comfortable position at night. And if your feet are up and you're in a comfortable position, even if you're watching TV from your bedroom, it's the comfortable position that will begin to allow your body to understand that I am in a relaxed state. And if I'm in a relaxed state, although a lot of people let their mind run wild, even at night, but if you practice just being in bed, you could be in bed, you could read a book, you could watch something on TV, but it has to be something very lighthearted. It can't be like Halloween 25. No, it's got to be, you know, roses in bedrooms, like roses and candlesticks, like something silly. Like Hallmark, anything is fine, right? Just put on a Hallmark channel. That'll put you to sleep, I promise you. Okay, there goes my joking nature. Hallmark's not going to find that funny. All right. Rest and recovery to be able to work out your own issues and separate those issues from others. Next, Heyoka empaths are honest, sometimes brutally honest. Oh my God, most of my intimate friends tell me I am brutally honest. I'm like, what? I'm like, you didn't know it? When I was living in Chicago, my son was in this movie. And one day all the moms got together and we played this stupid game. I mean, the dumbest game ever. And the game was to go around the room and say something about someone in the room. Or it's like, I don't know if we picked the name or the person next to you. I don't remember. In any case, it got to me. I don't know why I said this. I said to one girl, I said, you are a drunk. And she was like, what? And I was like, wait, you didn't know? Really? You don't see how much you drink? And she was like, what? What I can tell you from that is that, oh my God, being brutally honest actually changed her whole life course. She actually saw what I was saying, even though I kind of said it like brutally mean, honest. She changed her whole life around. She raised wonderful boys. I mean, wonderful children, and and got a degree and changed her whole life up. I mean, yeah, yeah. Heyoka empaths can be brutally honest. People sometimes feel attacked by their honesty. Oh my God, this is so me. It's not that Heyoka empaths are insensitive, far from it. They just know that a hard truth can be kinder than a nice, deceptive lie. If you're an empath like this, you just might be known for dropping truth bombs on everyone around you. Not everyone can handle the truth. Some people find this off putting, but much of the time, you say what needs to be said, even if it hurts. In the end, people are grateful that you said what no one else would say. And that's the other thing about empaths. People either absolutely love you. I mean, this is exactly what I get with energy. They absolutely love me, or they can't stand the sight of me, and they wish I would. They wish I wouldn't come in the room. They're like, "Who's coming, Tracey?" Oh hell no, nope. I will not deal with her. And I'm like, what did I do? Why would anybody say that about me, right? Half the times, again, I didn't know I was a Heyoka empath, right? Or I get people that love me. There is no middle ground. There's no one that would ever say, I like her, but nope. It's I love, love, love her, or she I can't, Tracey? No, 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 no. No, 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 no. I will not come if she's there. And I'm like, me? They said that about me? They wouldn't show up if I showed up? Sometimes the truth we need to hear hurts our feelings, but heals our hearts. You prefer solitude to recharge. Who's like that? One of the main signs you might be an Heyoka empath is you need to be alone to recharge because you've got so much coming at you that you prefer solitude, you enjoy solitude, you are comfortable being by yourself. Come on, Heyokas. Who's out there that is like, what group do I need to be in? I could, oh, God, I can't. I just can't. I love my alone time, and I love lots of alone time. You need that separation between yourself and others to really feel at home with your feelings and recover from the constant work of healing the world. In fact, you may sometimes find yourself fantasizing about escaping. That is hilarious. I can't tell you how many meetings I've been to, how many conventions I've gone to, and how I'm like, where's the nearest exit? Because this is some stupid shit. I'm not gonna stay to listen to shit. Back in the day in 2019 when we used to go to conventions, you're like, I'm staying for this bullshit. Oh my God. I went to Washington, D.C. with my church in Staten Island, and they had all these meetings in this hotel. And I was like, They're like, which meeting are you going to? I don't know. I think I'm going to go to this one. Because they were church meetings, right? And church people are fucking crazy, right? So I was like, I don't know. I think I'll go to this one. I didn't know it was like exiting church, but this was a clear sign that church was no longer for me. And so I would go to the meetings and I'd be like, I can't. I'd go to the bathroom. I wound up walking the streets of Washington, D.C., loving it. I even went to the archives to see if I could find my family name. No, that's me. And being around too many people, and church people are just crazy, and they act more churchy. Have you seen church people? They act more churchy when they're around churchy people because everybody's competing about who's the biggest churchy. I don't like that. I'd rather go to a coffee shop at Starbucks, eat coffee, and read a goddamn book. Ah, of course, Rosalind. People think I'm strange because I can read them. Yeah. It's a lonely life, but I love not having to absorb the negative energy of other people. Truth. All true. All right. My back is itching a little bit. Hold on, guys. Go get my back scratcher. Stay right there. I still have you in my earpiece, so you can hear me stomp against the floor. Oh, here it is. Back scratcher. Yay! Oh, I feel good. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh. All right, just a little back scratcher orgasm going on there. Remember, I joke a lot, people. Oh my God. All right, let's continue on. I didn't think this would. See, I knew I wasn't going to get to the animal empath because Heyoka has a lot to do in this lifetime. Okay, honest, really honest. You prefer solitude to recharge. I love that. Um, Mental health days aren't just recommended with Heyokas, they are necessary to this powerful empath. You need mental health days to survive the onslaught of the world's emotions. You instinctively know what others will say next. You automatically know what's about to come out of someone's mouth, no matter how unexpected it seems. You know just what I'm talking about if you're an empath. Um, I don't necessarily do that anymore because I found talking for people invasive. And I have found that not letting people finish their own thought is rude, right? Even if I know, Sylvester goes, I do that. Stop it, Sylvester, stop it. I have found that part of care for others is to let people talk, let them finish their sentence. And unless they have like a special needs or a deficit in their intellect, and you are helping in that way, a normal, I don't mean the word normal in that way, but someone who doesn't have any disabilities doesn't need your help, right? The best thing you can offer, rather than finish their sentences, you can offer up patience, right? A listening ear is so much better than finishing someone's sentence, right? You seem to have extra spidey senses before big announcements. Oh my God, I really do. When I saw that Facebook was $13 billion loss, what part of he was going to lay off was anybody missing? Of course he was going to lay off. He lost $13 billion. Get out of here. And so he announced that layoffs are going to be today. Oh, see, I laughed, nervous laugh. It, hundreds of thousands of people lost jobs between Twitter and Facebook, and I giggled. I didn't giggle about the loss of job. I giggled because I knew this shit was coming. Okay, sorry. Too much cursing tonight. Try not to curse during Tracey After Dark. Um, you know, even Hurricane Maria, talking about making inappropriate announcements. I was on Facebook. Hurricane Maria, one of my really, really good friends from my psychic store days, she was on Facebook, and I was like, oh my God, I'm so praying for Puerto Rico, because I knew what was going to happen, right? I was like, oh my God, I'm so praying for Puerto Rico. She said to me, what's going to happen? And I said, Puerto Rico's going to get destroyed. Well, let me tell you something. Everybody in that feed cussed me the fuck out. Once again, a side of me that doesn't lie, shoot straight from the hip. And what I failed to realize is that there were human beings on that land. And everybody in the feed gave me a good slap in the face. They were like, my grandmother is over there. And I'm like, oh my God. My children are over there. They're vacationing over there right now and can't get off the island. I was like, oh, and I had to eat dirt, right? Because I think it was the way I said it. And I was like, I'll never announce a disaster ever again. I will never announce a disaster. Now, this Hurricane Ian, oh my God, I knew it was going to be bad. I didn't want to announce it, but I knew it was going to be bad. The way they were talking and how it was going to sit over parts of Florida, I knew Nicole was going to eat dirt out there in Florida, right? Yeah, yeah, yeah. We can tell really bad, extraordinary, big announcements. Um, and of course, there are other big announcements, like if someone is like, and I've done this too, right? Especially in a neighborhood. I can always tell when somebody in the neighborhood is cheating, always, always. Because back in the day, we used to have a lot of parties, right? And remember, as an empath, I don't do parties well, right? So I'm always sitting, observing somewhere, right? Usually at the spades table, right? I don't play spades because people think I'm a goddamn idiot because I can't count, right? And if I play against someone, they take this shit seriously. Like, you don't know what 8 and 6 is? I'm like, well, I do know, but you're making me nervous. So now I'm getting scared. I don't know how much it is. What is it, right? And so they don't let me play spades anymore, but they'll let me sit next to them for good luck. I'm always like that good luck piece, right? Whatever. But because I'm observing now, I'm not watching a fucking table. Who cares the fuck about 4 and 5? I don't give a shit, right? But I start looking at people's mannerism, and I'm like, oh my God, those two are having an affair. And then I'll tell my sister the next day, I was like, I gotta tell you, so-and-so and so-and-so's having an affair. And my sister's like, oh my God, there you go again. You're always talking about people and who's having an affair. They always come back and be like, oh my God, Tracey, it came out. So-and-so and so-and-so's having an affair. I was like, I tried to tell you. How'd you find out? By the way, Heyokas love good gossip. Your inner child is alive in you. I love my inner child. I love to have fun. I love to skip a doo-doo-doo. I love music. I love coloring. Oh, the inner child in me, when she's a happy inner child, because there's an evil little girl inside of me too. It's the same person, by the way. Same soul. But when she's happy, she's really happy. We all have an inner child. The Heyoka empath is very much present in everything that they do, their inner child, shows up in everything. You have a natural sense of wonder and innocence despite the emotional cargo that you're also capable of carrying around. Also, empaths are very, very creative. I have to tell you, all I do is take pictures of flowers in flowers and clouds. I love, right? In St. Croix. But you would think these pictures were done by a professional, if I must brag. Seriously. Today, and the angle of the flower, like everything I do, I love it. All right, whatever. Enough about me. No matter what happens with an empath, Heyoka empath, you can see the good and you can find the joy, right? I was telling, I think it was my group the other day. I don't know if I said it on TV, but I was like, one of the stories I admired the most was Anne Frank, right? Who took an extraordinary situation, hiding out from the Germans, and found a way to invest in life in the circumference of the basement that they were living in. She found life. She found a way to enjoy the space that she was in. Dear Diary, right? To this day, I admire that energy. You don't have to write a diary, but you have to be present in circumstances that you find yourself in. Some of us find ourselves in jobs that are terrible, terrible jobs, but you're there with others. And if you're there with others, is there a way together you guys can make 8 hours go by better than just acting like, I hate this job, I'm so miserable. There has to be happy in every aspect of your life. There has to be happy. I didn't say happy all the time, but I said there has to be happy. And sometimes you just have to look for it. Sometimes you just have to see it in each other. Sometimes you just have to know you might hate your job, but man, Malik is hilarious. I can't wait to get to work so I can sit next to Malik and we can just talk and bullshit and work at the same time. Because I have found a way to get the happiness through others. And you can too. The other thing, oh boy, I gotta watch this about myself too, is Heyoka empaths are so capable of seeing the dark side a lot. Sometimes when I'm posting in my group meet text group, sometimes I find myself posting doom and gloom. And one day I gave myself permission to post doom and gloom. I didn't ask the group, are they okay with me posting negative stories constantly? I never asked them, but I have decided to give myself permission to be myself and post what I want to post. And if it's dark or doom and gloom, oh well, right? I'll post, I don't even know. Right now, I'm not in a dark place. I don't post a lot of dark things, but maybe during COVID, I was like, another 1,000 people died today of COVID, and I'll post that. That's kind of doom and gloom, I would think, right? But I decided to give myself permission to do that because when I'm posting, I'm not hurting anyone. I hope I'm not hurting anyone, but it does relieve me. Like it kind of makes me feel like I'm talking to someone when I post something in my spiritual group because it's like without saying anything to them. So it's almost like, hey guys, this is bothering me. And I post about it, but I don't say, hey guys, this is bothering me. I just post it. And I feel like it just relieves me of that energy of holding on to something. So it's very important, even if you're not a Heyoka empath, it's very important to indulge the inner child in you, right? To see the world through fresh perspectives and to embrace your insatiable sense of curiosity. Like always open your eyes to the possibility and look at something as a child would look at it. If you're a Heyoka empath, you have the reputation for being creative and innovative. You don't just think outside the box, you also problem solve. You're likely a creative art of some kind. That could be literal art, it could be dancing, it actually also could be working out, exercising. I'm finding that that is another way for Heyoka empaths to release energy, right? Um, you might start your own business because that's how creative you are, because you're a Heyoka empath. Oh, yeah, I actually think, Sylvester, you are a Heyoka empath. I so I want to offer that up to you so that you could start acknowledging some of the things that you might feel like there's a relationship to with the Heyoka empath. So check into it and see which one applies to you, and then learn how to manifest an even stronger Heyoka side of you, right? Even stronger. I think if I were to tell you the one part I think that needs to be worked on is learning to heal others through words or through print. But learning that part of being an empath is pushing back out and with words telling people something of comfort. I don't know if that helped you at all. Hold on. All right. But your creativity is innate, it's natural, it's God given. You don't even want to diminish your innate creative side. Also, as a Heyoka empath, when people call me for business, oh my God, the creative things that come out of my brain to help someone understand what they could be doing with their business. So call me for your readings on business. I'm really, really good at that. You can sense others' emotions without even being around them. How many of y'all have done that? Especially if you have children, right? And you're like, oh my God, I could feel, my son going through something, right? I could feel when my mother was going through something, right? And then I would call her because I'd be like 3,000 miles away. And I would call her and I would be like, hey, how's it going? And she'd be like, oh, not good. Oh, what's going on, Mom? Right? Because I already sensed it. Maybe I didn't understand in a clear vision what she was going through, but I know my gut was like, something's wrong with that woman. Reach out to her. And a lot of times with my mom, it had something to do with her sisters, and just letting her vent about it, right, was healing, you know, and encouraging her that, she's made as perfect as she can be, and stop taking childhood history and bringing it to her today life. My lights just lit up, so I feel like my mom is listening, you know, like let's not hold on to all that energy. But that was something that the three sisters, same shit with Kyle and Kathy and Kim. My God, you have too many women in the family, at least one of them is going to go awry, and it's just after a certain age, like, Mom, why are you holding on? But I wouldn't say that to her. I would just be like, what's going on? Well, I spoke to my sister today. This is what happened. I was like, oh, how did you handle it? Well, I started crying. Oh, dear. All right. Are you still crying? Yeah. Oh. Well, tell me everything, Ma. Tell me from beginning to end, right? So just letting her talk and get it out would be helpful and useful. So we can sense things even when we're not close. All right. I remember my son is also very much a Heyoka empath. He doesn't know it, but he absolutely is. And one day we were traveling to Ohio to see some friends, and my son, he was sleeping, and he wakes up and he goes, I smell Grandpa. And I was like, oh, shit. I was like, all right, that means he's not okay. And so, of course, I called his house, no answer. I called my sister's house, no answer, right? And not everybody had a cell phone back in the day. This is me using a cell phone, but I was the only one that had a cell phone. And so we finally get to Ohio, and we were going by train, so imagine how long that trip was. We finally get to Ohio, and I finally reach my sister, and I'm like, what's wrong with Dad? And she's like, he's in the hospital. And I was like, oh my God, Brian smelled him. Too funny. Oh, you wake up in the morning and you can tell that someone that you used to love is having a bad day. Your best friend is having a bad day. You just know when it's time to call your mom. You don't have to be around someone to feel their feelings because you sense their feelings. Sometimes this could be a little confusing because you might feel a feeling and know who it's connected to without ever being able to know exactly why you still have that connection. You just do. Maybe you don't call that person you no longer talk to, but you've got healing energy to send in their direction. So when this happens, because you instinctively know what they need, then you send that healing energy. I mean, can everyone try that right now? Do you know someone that needs healing energy, but you know you can't really call them? Think of someone that needs your healing energy and send it to them. It could be physical healing, it could be emotional healing. Think of someone and just send them some really good, healthy healing energy. This is what another part I love about Heyoka is your emotions run hot and cold. I don't know, Sylvester or LaShonda, if you're still on. If you guys see me do this in the group, right? I'll be really, really compassionate, or I can be really, really cold. I know when I'm being cold. I know exactly when I'm being cold in a group, right? A lot of times I'm being cold in a group to harness the emotions, right? I'm always concerned that emotions can be a stage for some, and not that you mean to do it on purpose, right? So I'm always mindful of someone taking their emotions in the group and harnessing it and capturing our attention. And then there are other times in the group, and I stop it, I nip it. I'm like, nope, unacceptable. You're going to control those tears so that we could get through the reading. That's what you're going to do right now, right? I've done that. And then there are other times when that's the cold side of me. And the other times when you have to let the tears run because this is a safe place. The spiritual group I'm talking about, it's a safe place. So there are times when you have to let the tears come out because that is healing. So I'm always looking at this balancing act in a group, right? So no one can take advantage by pouring out their emotions. I can see the difference. So remember to have some healthy boundaries. The Heyoka empath generally does not care what other people think. I promise you, I don't. If this is you, you don't give in to peer pressure. It just doesn't bother you what other people think because you know they'll never understand. They'll never get it from a spiritual place. So why am I going to spend another day caring that you don't like me? I'm like, okay, moving on. Thank you for that input. Bye-bye. Besides that, a Heyoka loves being different. So you can't point it out to them when they're going to be like, you can't say to a Heyoka empath, you're weird. They're like, oh my God, thank you. I've been trying to tell people how weird I was. Thank you. At least you said it out loud, right? That's a Heyoka empath. In the back of your mind, then you go, bitch, right? Bitch. But you don't say it out loud. You're just like, you just don't get me. So if you call me weird, I'm open to that word for me. I like it, bitch. All right. Oh, this is my favorite part. You always know when someone's lying. Oh, I fucking hate liars. You always know when someone's lying. Lying liars, lying. Even the most accomplished liar cannot get beyond a Heyoka empath. You could be lying all your life, and you could be like, a Heyoka empath is like, oh, fuck, they're fucking lying. Oh my God, I fucking hate liars. Heyoka empaths are so deeply intuitive that any sense of dishonesty will set off their internal alarms. When someone is lying to themselves, I nip it. You're not allowed to lie to yourself. I'll drop truth on you when you are lying to yourself. Most of my clients know I have done that. I've even said it to them. Stop lying to yourself. But this is what I feel, Tracey. No, 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 no. You're lying to yourself. So you're believing that that's what you feel, right? You're open-minded, but deception is something your spirit I will not tolerate a liar. I will not. And that has nothing to do with my clients. One of the biggest problems I've ever had with my son is getting him not to lie. It is a problem I've had with my brother. My mother never nipped it. Never. He died at a really young age because he insisted upon lying to everyone. How is that supposed to work out for you? And growing up, I saw my son going in the same path, constantly lying. It was the one thing I kept stepping in front of. I was like, tell me the truth. Tell me the truth. Oh my God, it's one of the hardest events I've ever had to deal with was trying to make sure my son did not turn out like my brother, a liar. Whew, I hate liars. All right, you suffer from emotional hangovers and you get overwhelmed. Are you frequently overwhelmed by emotions swirling around you? And do you get emotional hangovers? I can wind up with an emotional hangover, especially if I don't get to solve the problem. Then it'll stay with me overnight. Heyoka empaths might arguably be the most powerful, but they also need a lot of recovery time to stay healthy. While you absolutely are strong enough to handle your own gifts, you'll need to learn strong boundaries to be able to differentiate between your emotions and everyone else's. Let's see something here. Without healthy boundaries and communication, you're likely to stay in an overwhelm mode. And a powerful person like a Heyoka empath cannot stay overwhelmed. You can get overwhelmed. You can't stay there. You're too powerful to get trapped in overwhelmed emotions. Remember, the Heyoka empath brings healing to the world. Sometimes this healing comes at a cost of their own personal well-being, but it doesn't have to. For those who identify as this special type of empath, neglecting self-care and solitude simply isn't an option. Your healing powers are a marvel, but it's important to take good care of yourself so you're capable of putting your sacred gesture spin on life for others. Take care of yourself. You can always find something to laugh about, and your dark and twisted humor is often just what the situation calls for, even if no one knows it until you've delivered the perfect line. You heal simply by the life that you live, always absorbing, always reflecting, always managing to laugh through it all as you show us all a new perspective. Aww. All right, guys. Who is a Heyoka empath? Who feels this? There was a lot to go over here tonight. Oh, yeah, Rosalind, people see your light and hate you for it. That happens to me a lot because yeah, that happens to me a lot. They don't understand the gift that is you. Yeah, yeah, that happens to me a lot. So it's like the sun, right? So the sun is healthy for you. If we didn't have the sun, we would be mortified. There'd be a miserable place without the sun. So we need the sun, but sometimes the sun burns. Too much light burns. That's what I am to others. I'm too much light for them. You know, they want it, but when I shine bright like a diamond, they're like, oh God, no, stop, get her out of here. But I know it and I see it, and it is what it is. Oh, Andrea says that's true. My mom is one of four sisters, and there are a lot of past childhood emotions when it comes to a bunch of sisters is fucked up. Oh my God, it's the worst. Y'all really have to plan how many girls y'all need to have in a family. I think two is too many. I really do. Shine bright like a diamond, right, Sylvester? All right, guys. I hope you got something out of this. Are you guys okay? Is everybody understanding a little bit about a Heyoka empath? I hope I helped. All right. I hope I made a difference. Um, Let me just see something. I was going to post some things, but I forgot. That's all right. I forgot. Remember, the key component in being an Heyoka empath is they push out to heal others. But I do want to remind every single empath that your job is to push back out those emotions, not hold on to it, and heal others. And if it's from a distance, prayer always works. Oh, thank you, Andra. Oh, thank you, Rosalind. Look at that. You guys are amazing. All right, let me end this. I love you all. And no book club tomorrow. No book club, but we will be reading. Let me write it here. Conversations with God, book 1. And we'll be doing that in 4 weeks. No date as of yet. All right. Conversations with God, book 1. Or volume, no, I think it's book 1. I think it says book 1. Doesn't really matter. Conversations with God, the very first book. All right, lovely. Thank you for putting up with me. I love you all, and I will see you tomorrow. I'll do some video tomorrow. Oh, you're welcome, Andrea. Thank you for showing up. Remember, if you're looking at this video right now, hit the like button and please subscribe. Thanks, guys. Take it easy. Bye.
Gals and guys, go to Tracey Brown Live. Go to Tracey Brown Live. Go to Tracey Brown Live. Gals and guys, go to Tracey Brown Live. Go to Tracey Brown Live. Go to Tracey Brown Live. Gals and guys, go to Tracey Brown Live. Go to Tracey Brown Live. Go to Tracey Brown Live. Gals and guys, go to Tracey Brown Live. Go to Tracey Brown Live. Go to Tracey Brown Live.